Hi, Paul Howe, CSAT Way. I want to take a few moments to talk about training priorities. And so, what's happening is it's kind of struck me that we are coming up on the anniversary of Uvalde. And so, when I go, all right, what have we done to fix it? Where have we placed the training priorities? What I'm seeing is a lot of agencies are putting them into red dot sites versus tactical training and leadership and individual CQB versus actually all the problems that happened in Uvalde. What we're doing is we're throwing officers a bone, so to speak, with equipment, and we're trying to buy proficiency, which you can't do. So I'm not for or against red dot sights on pistols. I'm going to probably go to the grave shooting irons. I have owned a red dot sight pistol, didn't care for it. It's like looking through a paper towel tube. For me, for my experiences, I will use a red dot on a rifle, but on a pistol, not so much. So let's talk about investments in training and time and money. So if you red dot the gun, we'll say $500, your optic $400, holster $100 plus, ammo 3,000 rounds. Figure that's what you'll need to actually really become proficient. And then your training time. So ammo, first 1,000 rounds, what they tell me is what you want to do is put your iron sights, shoot through your iron sights, and just get used to pointing the weapon without the dot on. Next 1,000 rounds, you shoot with the dot on to get used to it, finding that sweet spot. Your final 1,000 need to go flat range, tactical drills, and get you to just drive home that pointability. And it's very accurate, but the problem is officers and agencies are not going to spend that time. I have case histories right now of officers, good officers, close-up gunfights, did not find a red dot, found their iron sights, and still engaged the bad guy, neutralized them. Okay, that's good. But they didn't put the mileage in right here. So are they going to allocate the training time to do that? We see more of them on the range. We just ran a tac pistol rifle instructor. Had basically 6 students, 3 red dots, 3 irons. Everybody passed. The red dots came in, and I attribute it to Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in Florida. Phenomenal agency. They train their officers. They're high priority on firearms. The officers came in, clean knee standards with on the pistol with a red dot. So I'm all about that. So it works out great for them. But the thing is, you've got to figure out the maintenance time, and those folks actually train. And so is your agency going to train? Now, one of the 3 red dots came loose during the class. So it goes back into the maintenance aspects of red dots. Now, let's say red dots. If every officer in Uvalde had a red dot on their pistol, would it have made a difference? The answer is no. What they lacked was leadership, individual initiative, single person CQB. What we did to fix Uvalde is a lot of agencies ran an 8-hour block of training for officers. They did it locally. We have officers that don't have enough firearms training, and so they did not know the role of safety in their AR to engage a bad role player during the role play section. So that goes back to firearms in itself. And we're trying to add more gear and throw it, and you cannot buy proficiency. So things that we need to look at. Our DPS director in the state needs to set the standard. His people failed in Uvalde. He failed his people, and he has not corrected the problems. What does that mean? Well, he said, if any of my officers didn't do their job or enter, I'll quit. Well, he didn't quit. So it's a political job. You know the deal. They get up there and they start schmoozing elbows. They get the fame, the glory, and they forget about the guys on the ground. They forget about the training and setting a standard and an example for the state. Now, I love the baseline guys. They got heart, but the problem is they're saddled with crappy leadership at the top right now that won't live the example. So what do we need to do? Well, single CQB. Has anybody addressed that? Virginia Tech set the standard. What happens is at Virginia Tech, the bad guy killed 32 people in 11 minutes. Every minute we didn't penetrate the target, he killed 3 people. So we need to teach him to take initiative, individual leadership, and push. If one will push and you see one of your officers going, somebody else is going to go. And it'll have a ripple effect and a positive ripple effect pushing into a target. So it's one of those things right now, the focus needs to go from all this training time to here to fix this, because they could have solved the problem with iron sights on a pistol had they pushed into the target. So what we do is we throw equipment as a fix at law enforcement. And they're like, oh, the new kids are like, oh yeah, it's just shiny. This is, this is good. This is cool. It's going to make me better. No, training will make you better. And personal dedication and skill, to the profession will make you better. Nobody's teaching single CQB. We've been doing it for years with teachers, churches. I'll run some CQB instructor classes for single officers in the future to teach folks how to do it. But we need to teach people leadership, individual initiative, when to push the fight, how to push the fight. Solutions for the red dots, I'm all about them. But here's the deal. People need to earn it, and law enforcement need to earn it to carry one. Well, what does that mean? You do 90% on your quals, the agency can buy you a red dot pistol and you can carry that. That's an issue. That creates an impact in the agency. Hey, if I do better, I can get rewarded. The other option is, agency, you're poor. They do 90%. You can buy your own and bring it and train with it, and we'll qualify you. Okay? That's saving the agency money. Otherwise, you're trying to buy proficiency with all this, and what you're doing is you're rewarding the slackers in the agency, in the department, that all it's going to do is collect dust and dirt, and it probably won't come on when they need it. Because if they're not shooting now, they're not going to shoot in the future. So it's one of those things that you need to look at your agencies and how to prioritize training and equipment and really what's important. Because if you ask me, would I invest in this or this? Right here, we got to save the kids. You can have all the fancy equipment. You can go back and look at the Uvalde videos. They had all the gear. They didn't have a set of nuts to go in and push. They didn't have the confidence, the skills. Nobody had trained them correctly. And so this goes back to alert in the other law enforcement agencies. They're pushing, they're reaching for that grant money, but they're putting out a crappy product as far as end game training. You don't always have 2. You don't always have 4. Sometimes it's that single officer that can make a difference. Patrol is doing single clears every day in the community. And so it needs to be learned actually by SWAT. And SWAT needs to take and train patrol. So SWAT officers will have to pie different areas. They don't always have a team with them to push in dynamically. Sometimes it's slow, methodical. They need to learn this. So it's one of those things, and they need to invest in this before they invest in this. You're not going to solve it with gear. You're going to solve it with leadership initiative, single CQB training. If the state gets on board, it'll have a ripple effect across the state, and they'll do better. And this is to you, DPS director. You need to probably pay attention, because right now you're sucking, and there's no confidence in your folks. Because I look around, I go, have you fixed it? And the answer is no. So it's a sad state. And I'm just addressing Texas right now. So love the state, love Texas. But you've got to be able to speak out and call a spade and a problem. And if you can't do that, then that's an issue. So I hope this talk helps. The anniversary is coming. Let's do something positive to honor the kids, and let's up our training. It's not the equipment. It's the training that will solve the problem and save kids in the future. So you take care, be safe. I'll catch you on the range.